Hey friends, it is Jen Gray, your host of Be Genuine with Jen, where together we are discovering the power of authenticity, mindset, and personal growth. And I am super excited for you to join me today on episode 9 of the show. Really excited. It is the holiday season. If you're not listening to this when I have produced it, and I wanted just to take a moment and address it, especially if you are in these categories. I'm going to talk to you. If you're not and you know somebody, it's going to be short, sweet, to the point, because I really want this to be a living room conversation to give yourself permission to give yourself some grace this holiday season. And especially if you are a working parent, or if you've experienced divorce or a shift in the family dynamics, and maybe your traditions have changed, maybe your time with your family for whatever reason has changed, whatever circumstances has caused this season to be extra stressful. I want to talk about it. Okay. And so for me, here's where I'm coming from. I am a single mama of 4 amazing kiddos. I am building a business in financial services. In addition to that, I am trying to grow 4 amazing humans. Okay. And I love holidays. All right. That's the last piece of information. And so if you can relate to that, let's talk a little bit about it, because I think it's super important that whenever we have extra stressful seasons in our lives, we get the opportunity to shape our kids' minds and how they grow and learn how to navigate super stressful situations in their life. I know, like with my kids, like they are so resilient in so many ways. And sometimes I'm like, like as a parent, you're like, okay, just make as few choices as you can so that your kids don't have to end up like in major counseling when they get older, right? Like that's like parenting 101. And I'm like, okay, well, just kidding. So I probably gonna have to have some counseling later on, but so the joined with the rest of us, right? But the whole thing is we want to teach our kids ultimately how to fly the coop, how to be amazing humans once they leave our household. And so I think this is a huge opportunity to teach kids how life is going to look different. And we don't have to fear that we experience genuine emotions in change, right? Like there's grief in that, there's anxiety, there's other things that come up. But when we can move past that and move forward in seasons of change and learn to look at the beauty that newness brings, I think everything shifts and everything changes. And so the first thing is this age old question of how do I have work life balance? When you figure it out, let me know. But I will say, I think for me that question comes in like the seasons that I've asked that question, it's been because I feel like when I'm with my kids, I have guilt because I want to be building my business. And then when I'm building my business, I have guilt that I'm not out there playing with my kids. And that's ultimately where the question comes from, right? We're like, how can I be satisfied when I'm doing I'm building my business while my kids are at home, or my kids are at home and I'm just playing with my kids, right? And here's the thing. I think when we have very clear time schedules put into place. Now, listen, y'all, I have 4 kids. I understand clear time schedules can sometimes be laughable because they last for 24 hours until everything else shifts. So, as much as possible, but there's a lot of things you do know, right? Like my daughter has gymnastics every Monday at 5:45, right? They go to church on Wednesday nights. When there's baseball season, it all looks different, right? Addison has viola. Like there are some things in your schedule that are going to be there. I don't know about your kids, but my kids have homework every single day. I have to pick them up from school every single day. Then on top of that, you have holiday traditions. You have things that you want to do. Like for me, we have a couple places that we love to go see lights. Okay, so I'm going to map that out. I'm going to take the big chunks of things in our schedule that are non negotiables, that are practices. Those are events. Those are Christmas parties. Those are family traditions, whatever those are. Go ahead and map it out starting December 1st. Because if you know that there are 3 special things that you want to do, then look at the schedule, divide it up, and say, okay, here's a blanket. What's going to happen? This is a priority. I'm going to work everything else around these major things. Because what's going to happen is if your business picks up majorly and the only thing you're able to do are those 3 pillar traditions that you have, you are still going to feel like you enjoyed and had a full Christmas season. because you made sure that the most important is the most important. You made sure that you put place into place what's most important. And you know what that's going to do? Let's say, okay, today it's Tuesday. So if I have something really special for next Tuesday, then I'm not going to worry that today that I'm not spending enough time with my kids or worry different things because I already know that tonight's not that special uninterrupted time with my kids. Right. So for me, I work my business around not only those big schedule things, but like every afternoon I pick up my kids from school. Maybe you do the same thing, right? You got carpool line. And if you're like me, you can build your business in the car until you pick up the kids. So I'm doing that. I'm doing follow-ups. I'm, going live, all the things. And then as soon as I get my kids for about an hour and a half every single day, it is uninterrupted mom and kid time. It is get home, get a snack, get the homework done. I have 3 kids that are elementary age. So you guys know, like the homework is a lot, especially my second grader, right? He can't just like do it all on his own. So those are things every day that I already know. So because I know that, I don't get stressed that I'm not working my business right. I don't get stressed that I'm not replying to messages on Instagram that I'm getting. I'm not replying to emails that I'm getting right now. I'm not worried about that because I already know I've carved that into my day. That is homework time. And here's why I know that's important. Because at the beginning of the school year, I didn't do that. I didn't make those like cut and dry time slots where I just knew that it was homework time, but I was still trying to like in between, like, okay, here, let me explain question 1. After question 1, I'm going to, go follow up on Instagram a little bit and I'm gonna come back for question 2. And, so I was trying to do all the things in both and just like what happens with the rest of your life. We can like try to multitask. And that sounds like a really, really, really amazing idea. The fact is, we really are not very good multitaskers. And in fact, it takes you like twice the amount of time if you're trying to do more than one thing at one time. And for me, what I noticed is that my heart just felt divided, right? Like I felt overwhelmed. I felt stressed. I felt like rushed and all that. And I'm like, why? Like it can wait. But mentally, I knew I had all these things on my to-do list that I needed to get done. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm still focused on getting those things to be done. But when those pillars in my schedule are in my schedule, then now I know my to-do list gets done around what's important. So there's no multitasking during homework time. There is no, when we have a special event, like we just went to a really cool place called Putt Check in Atlanta. If you've never gone, you got to go. It's super, super fun. Indoor, made a really, really cool high-tech indoor putt. It was so fun. We went there. Intentionally, I'm like, I am not taking my phone out. I took some pictures and I'm like, I'm not even gonna post pictures, whatever. Like, this is not a social media conversation. I'm not here to add guilt to you about when to post, what to post, all the things. There's enough voices out there to say that. But for me, I know that when I am trying to let other people in my life in the moment, while also being in the moment with my kids, that I don't do both things at the same time very well. Okay. So for me, it's like, I'm going to take pictures with my kids as memories and hold those. And then like the next day I posted it because I love my memories being out there, right? Like I love that my social media friends, you guys get to know my kids, right? Like this is where we build community, right? That's what I love about social media. So, but what I had to learn is I'm not good multitasking when I'm supposed to, right? And there's no shoulds and supposed tos when I've given intentional time to my kids. So the balance comes when you divide when you're going to do business and when you're going to spend time with your kids. And let your kids know when that's happening. That doesn't mean my kids can't interrupt me when I'm doing work when they're at home. No, but they also know that if mommy is in her room with the door closed with my computer up on a Zoom, they know that ahead of time. That's time it's uninterruptible time. But if I have my laptop in the kitchen and they're just hanging out in the living room or whatever, like I'm free game, right? So that's how you can balance it, figure out, I do a lot of my meetings during school time, right? Because they're not here. It's perfect, right? But sometimes you can't do that. And so just figure out what works for you. But I will tell you that when there's not defined time, it becomes stressful for everybody. The kids feel like they're being left out, like mommy's always working, right? But now they understand like work is a gift. Y'all, your kids getting to watch you build your dreams is a gift. I will say that probably every single podcast, because we all need to learn that we don't need to teach our kids that work and family are separate, because they can be together. Because I am showing my 4 kids that if they want to be a parent when they get older, they can be a parent and they can build whatever God's called them to build. Both can happen, right? It doesn't have to be either or, like kids or career or whatever. Like both can happen, and both can happen healthfully in healthy ways. And that I don't, y'all, I screwed up more than I do it right. But I'm here to say I've seen a difference in the way my kids respond to work time. But ultimately, like they're super chill. They're more chill than I am. That guilt just like rumbles in there, right? And I just have that like tendency to feel like, oh my goodness, like my kids are here. I shouldn't be working. And that's something that's really, really, really helped me divide up what those times look like. And maybe it's you going through and you've had just changes in your life. Maybe it's not. Maybe you did. Maybe you used to be a stay-at-home mom and now you're working. Or maybe you were married and you've gone through either a separation or a divorce. Or maybe you have moved and you're no longer near extended family and you guys are like navigating this on your own. Whatever that looks like. Maybe you are a career dad, right? You're a single dad, you're a career dad, or you're married and you're a career dad. In any of those things, because if you have that pull of being a parent and being a career person, that ultimately it adds a lot of stress if you don't recognize it and make really, really healthy solutions into navigating those times. And here's what else I want to say in all of that. Maybe for some of you, you're comparing your life as a stay-at-home mom to the way you are as a career mom, and your guilt is coming from the fact that you used to be able to spend all of this time with the kids morning till night, and now you're not. And now that's where the guilt rises, because you're comparing it to a past situation. And whatever caused you to change your situation, maybe like me, you're just like, I expected being a stay-at-home mom is going to be way more fulfilling than it was. And my kids are my world and I love and adore them. But also, I have dreams that are boiling inside of my heart and I want to be able to do both, right? Maybe that's some of your journeys as well. I think one thing that's super, super important is, as you navigate all of this change, is that it is quality over quantity. And when you start to isolate these special times and you focus on the quality of the time that you're spending with your kids, like we went to Putt Shack, y'all, we were gone for maybe 2 hours, but it was uninterrupted. It was a fun Christmas karaoke drive down to the place. We had the time of our lives when we were there, and we took some fun pictures around there. That was just to appease mom. I don't know how much fun they had, minus my 14-year-old. She enjoys the picture. She's in the selfie phase, right? But and then we had a super fun drive back. It was like 2 hours uninterrupted, super fun. It was literally more memory building than like a whole week of trying to do both and being 2 places at one time and all of that. So sometimes you don't need to look at the amount of time that you have. You have to look at the intentionality of the time that you do have. And that's when you can choose to build in really, really, really special memories. So the first in the balance is being very strategic in scheduling those pillar special moments, those things that have to happen in your schedule, and then working your business around those pillar moments. Number 2 is change. Maybe you do have less time with your kids. I know if you're a parent, you never had your kids to not spend every waking day with your kids, but life happens. So instead of living in that guilt and living with that weight over your shoulder, what can we do about it? Whether it's divorce, and so traditions change, right? Like maybe every single year you used to do this on Christmas Eve, and now you don't have your kids every Christmas Eve. Or maybe Christmas morning used to look like this, and you don't have them every Christmas morning. So where do you go with that? And I think that these are the moments that I mentioned at the very beginning, that we get to set our kids up with a really, really, really healthy mindset. And that's where change can be beautiful. Change can be hard. And it's kind of like grief, right? There's really, really deep, deep, hard parts of grief, but then ultimately there's so much that you can learn from it in the end. So there is this bittersweet part of anything that we go through. So teaching our kids not to be like, oh, don't be mad about it. Just, it's all going to be good. No, not like saying you be like toxically positive to your kids. But I do think that them learning that change is going to happen and coping with change at a young age is only going to set them up to be much, much, much healthier minded adults. Because newsflash, lots of changes happen in our lives, right? And the thing is, we don't focus on the loss, we're going to focus on the gain. The loss, maybe the loss of time. But what we are going to focus on is the gain of new traditions and get creative, right? Like, let your kids ask them, like, if you could do anything for Christmas break, what would be on the top of your list? Ask your kids. Start creating traditions about maybe what they find fun. And I mean, one thing my kids love, and because I just asked them, I'm like, let's see, let's get some fun, like free things that in our spare time on the weekends when we don't have baseball, what we can do. And geocaching is one of our favorites. Like, they love it. They can pull it up on their phones, and we can, wherever we are, we can see what kind of free geocaches are. It's, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically like this big worldwide treasure hunt, and it's just super fun. And they love it. They work together. We have memories. We're all about music, so it's some kind of fun playlist going on in the car and driving to these places, and it's awesome, right? Like Chopped Junior. My kids are obsessed with Chopped Junior. Those are new things that we've developed in this season of our life because I'm looking for cost-effective things that they enjoy doing. Like, my boys now have made full entree meals and have built these whole appetizer spreads and all that I didn't really think they would even enjoy doing, but they've loved it. They've loved getting to be creative. And so when you ask them what they would love to do, then you can create new traditions around that. Then the newness is exciting, right? Like, my kids aren't thinking, oh, I wish we could go to, we used to go to Stone Mountain Christmas. It's crazy expensive now. Well, so we're not going to be able to do that. But I will create a cool, like, Chopped Junior day where we're going to make like a whole holiday spread, and we'll make, Christmas cookies, and make a whole, maybe it's like a Christmas breakfast for dinner kind of thing, or, something like that, that we can make this whole thing filled with different things that they enjoy doing that don't have to cost any money. And it's not about the money to them, it's about the memories. And so, not focusing on, oh, we're not going to get to go do this because mommy doesn't, we don't have that money, like, or we don't have the time to go do that, or that's da da da. No, it doesn't have to be that. It's like, we're going to do this, right? It's not focusing on the loss, it's focusing on the gain. Shifting their mindset to joy. That's what I want to kind of close it up today, is about joy. Y'all, that comes down to us. We get to shift how we talk. Like I just said, it's shifting to focusing on the gain and not the loss. And maybe for your own selves, right? Like, y'all, one of the most powerful statements I've ever heard, and I will say it over and over and over and over again: stress and anxiety and gratitude cannot exist in your brain at the same time. Do you know the power of that? When you are feeling overwhelmed in the holidays and you're feeling overwhelmed with work, if you shift that to gratitude, do that for your kids. If you feel like your kids they're like complaining or they're whining, like, don't like be like, oh, well, compare yourself to the homeless in Atlanta, like, no, like that's not necessary. I totally have literally brought up kids in Africa and shown them, I'm like, you need to have gratitude for your food, because these kids, I'm sure they wish that they had mommy's dinner. That might not be the best parenting advice. That's why this is not a parenting podcast. So I'm not even going to tell you that's what you should do. But listen, I don't have to go and compare it like to the worst of the worst. I can remind them of all the things that they're grateful for, or I can give them the opportunity to remind themselves of all the things that they're grateful for. And I'm telling you, your kids just want your attention. And that's what I've learned, that if I can give my kids undivided attention, that it's like deposits into their love bank. And so then when mommy's going to be busy, then it's like, hey, guess what? Mommy's going to be working. We're going to do homework every day, and we're going to do this. And then next Tuesday, we're doing this. And they're looking forward to next Tuesday. And then they already know, based on what you did last time, hey, this is going to be awesome. We get all of mom, and it's going to be an amazing time. So be intentional. Balance exists only when you prioritize what's most important, and giving yourself the grace that it's going to be okay, that it's quality over quantity, and that change can bring newness and beauty, and our mindset can be that of joy, so that we teach our kids that new doesn't have to mean bad, and different doesn't have to mean less than. We can have the absolute best Christmas season, no matter how different it looks, no matter how hard things may be, finding ways to genuinely enjoy each other, and just create new traditions. And so I would love for you guys to connect. If you're not connect with me on Instagram or Facebook. It's at I'm Jenn Gray, and would love for you to connect. I want to hear your new traditions. If you are a new single mama or you are a new career dad and you're navigating all this, again, this is about building community. We are about being the most authentic versions of ourselves, and we're going to grow into the best versions of ourselves. And if you believe that the best days are always ahead, then every day we're going to work at being 1% better than we were yesterday so that our best days are always ahead. So y'all, that means your best Christmas has never even happened yet. And that may be really, really, really hard for you to take to heart because it feels like it's going to be so, so different this year. But my challenge to you and my encouragement to you and my big hug to you, I wish I could across the screen, is give yourself grace. Enjoy the little moments. Be present when you can be present, and create new traditions that you can be so proud of and so excited for and look forward to year after year after year. And so you guys, be genuine. I'm cheering you on. I love you. And that may seem so weird because I don't know so many of you, but y'all, people hate people all across the world for absolutely no reason. I will always choose to love you for no reason until we meet each other and I find out the millions of reasons to love you. So Merry Christmas, happy holidays, enjoy this season, and breathe. And I cannot wait to watch and see you guys building new memories with people who you love and matter the most to you. So I will see you guys next week. And if you have not subscribed, please hit subscribe. If you have not dropped a 5-star review, I would love for you to do that. Just go right below wherever you're listening, drop a 5-star review. Just click the 5 stars and then write a couple sentences about the value that this could add. But that's my heart, that this adds value to you guys. So love y'all, and I will see you next week.